Hello everyone, welcome to the class. Our topic today is adverbial. Remember, when you see this icon, you may click and pause the video to fill out your note-taking sheet. Write down any questions that you may have in the space provided. An adverbial is an adverb phrase, an adverbial prepositional phrase, or an adverb clause that tells us how often, how long, in which direction, when, where, and why the action in the clause is happening. There are three types of adverbials: an adverb phrase, an adverbial prepositional phrase, and an adverb clause. Let's take a look at the first type of adverbials. An adverb phrase is composed of an adverb and sometimes a qualifier. An adverb phrase can be used to describe time. Here are two examples. John climbed Mount Whitney recently. John and his friends arrived extremely late. An adverb phrase can also be used to describe manner. Here are two examples. Mary walks extremely fast. Mary speaks English very well. An adverb phrase can also be used to describe frequency. Here are two examples. David usually prefers campgrounds. David sometimes encounters grizzly bears. Now let's take a look at the second type of adverbials. An adverbial prepositional phrase is composed of a preposition and a noun phrase. Remember to take notes and write down any questions that you may have on the note-taking sheet. An adverbial prepositional phrase can also be used to describe location. Here are two examples. John sets up his tent among the trees. John lays his camping gear onto the giant rock. An adverbial prepositional phrase can be used to describe time. Here are two examples. Mary hikes in the morning. Mary meditates before sunrise. An adverbial prepositional phrase can also be used to describe a purpose or a reason. Here are two examples. David loves Lesson Volcanic National Park because of its wildlife. David supports restoration projects for endangered species. An adverbial prepositional phrase can also be used to describe manner. Here are two examples. John examines the surroundings with caution. John and his friends prepare dinner by the river. Adverbial phrases can also be used to describe frequency. Here are some examples with deleted prepositions. Mary visits Lesson Peak every year. Mary enjoys farm tours every day. Now let's take a look at the third type of adverbials, the adverb clause. An adverb clause has two parts, an adverbial subordinator and a sentence with its own subject and predicate with a verb. An adverbial subordinator introduces an adverbial clause. Common adverbial subordinators include after, although, as soon as, because, before, by the time, even though, if, since, when, whenever, and until. An adverb clause can be used to describe location. Here are two examples. John likes to explore places where no one has gone before. John's friends ride bikes whenever they visit Big Sur National Park. An adverb clause can also be used to describe manner. Here are two examples. Mary goes kayaking when she doesn't have to study. Mary often visits Morro Bay even though it's several hours away. An adverb clause can also be used to describe time. Here are two examples. David goes to Cambria as soon as the weather begins to cool down. David spends hours at Moonstone Beach whenever he's in town. An adverb clause can also be used to describe frequency. Here are two examples. John dives for sea urchins as often as the weather permits. John goes fishing as often as he brushes his teeth. An adverb clause can also be used to describe reasons. Here are two examples. Mary travels abroad because diverse cultures fascinate her. Mary wants to stay at Ragged Point because her friend works there. Although an adverb clause originates at the end of a sentence in our preceding examples, it can also be moved to the position before the main clause. When the adverb clause precedes the main clause, we must add a comma between the adverb clause and the main clause. An adverb clause can also be placed in a sentence initial position. Here are two examples. Although it's several hours away, Mary visits Morro Bay every weekend. When she doesn't have to work, Mary goes skydiving at Ragged Point. Alright, here's quiz number 1. Underline the adverbials and indicate the type of adverbials in the sentences below. Here's quiz number 2. Use adverbial subordinators to complete the sentences below. Remember to write down your answers, and we will go over the quizzes in our next session of class. Alright, you've just completed the lesson on adverbials. Here's a homework. Use each of the following adverbial subordinators to create your own sentence with an adverb clause. And I'll see you in class on Wednesday. Bye-bye!